Welcome to the broadcast, my dears, our first ever outside broadcast. I'm all huffing and puffing and out of breath. I've been up the hill and down the hill and back again. We're going to be talking about Meghan. But you should know that Harry is here in the kingdom. As of Sunday, apparently, he jetted in out of California. He's here for his High Court appeal, which is being heard right now. But he didn't see the King. The King was in Highgrove for the weekend, so he was there. Harry jetted in on Sunday. They didn't cross paths. From what I understand, they didn't cross paths. And then the King, of course, had to jet off to Rome. And he's been welcomed there for his state tour. So it's going to be an interesting week to see what Harry gets up to. It's going to be an interesting week to see the reaction to Confessions of a Female Founder. I think we all know what that's going to be. A bit of ridicule, which is always fun, isn't it, my dear? Hello everybody, I'm interjecting right here from the start to say that this is a rather peculiar video. I decided to try and take you outdoors to Hampstead Heath and film on the heath. I really wanted to try and delight some of you who have asked for that or would like something different, but unfortunately it was a total flop because the sound ended up being terrible. There was lots of wind and some of it was all blurry. You'll see technical stuff is just not my forte, my dears. Even just filming on a selfie stick, I've got such admiration for those who can pull it together. There's a lot more involved in getting a flawless performance to anybody, technically speaking, even with just a selfie stick. I haven't got the knack for it, I'm afraid, and I couldn't even see myself in the lens recording. The sun was too bright, so when I got home and checked it out, it wasn't that great. I was going to dump it, I wasn't going to post anything, but I'm going to post it here, and you can either skip this video and ignore it, or try and take it in the spirit that I'm offering it to you as a one-off outtake that I've decided to publish. But what I'm going to try and do is decorate it with the very pretty footage that I did capture of Hampstead Heath, so at least there will be some beautiful eye candy for you throughout it and to hopefully compensate for the poor quality. So I hope you'll be able to just indulge that today or skip this one, whatever you fancy, my dear, but it's something instead of nothing, so I hope you take it in that spirit. I did my best. It just didn't turn out exactly how I hoped, but never mind, I gave it a shot. So all we can do, isn't it, my dears? Thank you, and on with the show. But it's a beautiful sanctuary. I told you that I'd show you this place. It's like an extended back garden of mine, really, because I've lived around it for most of the years that I've been in London. And it's the jewel in the crown of London, really, my dears. You know, New York has Central Park. Well, London has many, many, many fabulous parks and green spaces. But this is the jewel in the crown because it's so natural. Ancient woodland, it's huge. There's Kenwood House in the middle of it. We've got ponds and streams and lakes, you know, swimming ponds. I did take the plunge once in one of the bathing ponds. Never again. Never again. There's been dead bodies floating in those ponds before, my dear. But yes, the site of many happy memories and picnics and time with friends and walks after Sunday roasts. This kind of thing, my dear. Beautiful. Welcome to Hampstead Heath and to the River broadcast. Well, the first episode is out, isn't it? The cat's out of the bag, and so's the pussy, presented by Lemonada Media, as it is. And we have been indulged with a conversation with Meghan's friend, Whitney Wolfe Herd. These names, these double barrels and these large highfalutin names are something else, aren't they? Whitney Wolfe Herd. I thought it was a pack of wolves, not a herd. Whitney Wolfe Pack. No disparagement to the girl, I'm sure she's wonderful. Actually, she's the first female entrepreneurial billionaire in the world, I believe. Billionaire by the age of 31. So very good company for Meghan there. Although a herd of ambers might be apropos, mightn't it? There's a big white fluffy dog distracting me. I'm not sure if it's friendly or not. This lady was the founder of Bumble. She co-founded Bumble and all of these hookup dating shagathon apps, and she co-founded Tinder. So no wonder she's minted, because everybody's after it, aren't they? And their topic of discussion, this is what's been hitting the headlines, of course, it involved postpartum pre-eclampsia. Pre-eclampsia, which can also be referred to or abbreviated to pre-E or PET, P-E-T, Lillipet. Lillipet. Well, both women, it turns out, suffered from this condition. and it has not been divulged if this relates to the gestational period for Prince Archie, or it has not been revealed, but the condition is related to high blood pressure, if you didn't know, and to excess protein in the urine in the days and the weeks after giving birth. And Meghan said to Whitney, we both had very similar experiences, though we didn't know each other at the time, with postpartum, and we both had preeclampsia. Postpartum preeclampsia. So they bonded over their preeclampsia. It's so rare and it's so scary, and you're still trying to juggle all of these things, and the world doesn't know what's happening quietly. Well, it is quite rare. I mean, I gave it a bit of a Google. Some say it affects 4 to 6% of pregnancies, but actually there's quite a wide variation. Some say up to 80% of pregnancies. It depends on the degree of the symptoms that are being suffered.
Why do you need a tripod, Phil?
Why?
Oh, you're painting.
No. Yes, well, I can get a good view, can't I? I can be nosy.
Yes.
Where are you off to today?
Well, we're going home.
Oh, I see. Okay. It's lovely, isn't it? And a number of factors, such as prior pregnancies, this sort of thing, and additional risks and factors. Well, I sympathise with anyone who's been dealing, of course, with those sort of worries, but I have less sympathy. I've got to tell you. I've got less sympathy for the King's grandchildren, yet again being used to generate headlines. First episode, we could have called it, couldn't we, my dears? We did call it. Every single time something comes out, it's the King's grandchildren being held up into view, when she wants them held up into view. You know, it's crass. It's like another crass vehicle for their publicity. Why can't she just do things off her own back? And also, I thought that the podcast was supposed to be about entrepreneurship. It all seems a little bit off topic, doesn't it? Somehow the conversation always comes back to two things: the King's grandchildren and how fabulous Meghan is, and what a stunning hostess she is. It's comedy gold, really, but it's not that funny on other levels. Well, Whitney Wolfpack, who, as I say, is a genuine founder and very successful in her field, I've got nothing against the girl, not a single thing, but she was oh so gushy over Meghan, and it's one of these girl squad moments where they all have to praise each other all the time, like it's a baby shower, like life is one great big baby shower where you tell each other how good you are at baking cakes and giving your husband a BJ and all of this sort of thing. It's so lowbrow, so lowbrow. This is the thing that boils my piss. Because if you think about it, my dears, can you imagine, cast your mind back to the time of your great-great-granny in the olden days, and she probably pushed out 14 kids. Half of them probably died in infancy, and it probably half killed your great-great-granny if she didn't die in childbirth herself. Can you imagine her and all of her companions and confidants back in the day, who were all at risk of all kinds of infections, by the way, and all kinds of infirmities. Is that a word? Yes. But they didn't have it as rough as Meghan, did they, my dears? Oh, no. The Duchess of Sussex is the one who had it harder than everybody else and had to pull her big girl panties up in order to get through the ordeal. That doesn't mean that I don't have sympathy or compassion for her or anybody else who was going through all of these sufferings. But Whitney, old Whitney Wolfpack, she lays it on ever so thick with the compliments to Meghan. She says, I'll never forget the image of you after you delivered Archie. And the whole world was waiting for his debut. It was like, oh my God, how is this woman doing this? How is this woman putting on heels and going and debuting a child in this, you know, beautiful outfit in front of the entire world? As if it was rocket science, my dear. I mean, no one forced her to waddle in, did they, in heels? Nobody said, you must wear heels for your great big announcement, Meghan. And that outfit looked like it took 2 seconds to slip into, didn't it? You know? It's not Queen Alexandra and all of her corsetry we're talking about. It was some button-up vest affair. And it was Meghan. She was the one who decided to iron her hair that day. That probably took about 6 hours, didn't it? Or weave it all up. You saw that hair, ironed to within an inch of its life. Beatniks would be proud of that coiffure. It took all those hours when she could have been doing something else. She could have been feeding Archie or something, and why didn't she just let it go natural into a big beautiful afro and be the proud confident woman of colour she claims to be? Do you understand? I think it's best if I don't even look at the ground, isn't it, my dear, so I can pretend there's no creepy crawlies around me. Oh dear. And she got Prince Harry to hold the baby for some of it, didn't she? Or was it all of it? Oh no, she dumped it onto Harry, so it wasn't as if she was expected to go into some sort of strenuous exercise over the whole thing. And she was facing a few photographers, just a small little batch of hand-picked photographers, you know, from the comfort of St George's Hall at Windsor Castle. It's not as if she was pushed out into the stairs and the steps of the Lindo wing, like Catherine and Diana are wont to do, isn't it, to show their babby to the world. They weren't forced into doing that. They are the ones that actually had to go through all of that drama. You know, I'm not saying that the pregnancy wasn't tough. I'm not saying that having this pet, this preeclampsia, this Lily pet, wasn't something horrible to have to endure, and the fear of all of that. No, my dear, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that I find it extremely vulgar that one of the highlights of this conversation has to be about how put upon Meghan was and how difficult it was for her to waddle in this corsetry and these stilettos while juggling little baby Archie and having to face the crowds as if she was at Wembley Stadium during a football game. No, my dear. Let's not truss it up, my dear. She did what trillions of women all over the world have to go through every day. Whitney Wolfpack went on to say that it takes a very strong cookie to tough out the brutalising time in the public eye that Meghan endured. No, it's not that tough when you're brazen, Whitney dear. What was it Whitney Houston said, your namesake? Show me the receipts. Show me the receipts. No, I don't believe that it was that tough for Meghan because she's brazen. The girl is brazen. She walked brazenly into married life and the royal family and the palace and Montecito and the Sizzler. Wherever she is, she's brazen about it, my dear. And when you're brazen, the attention is manna. It's manna from the heaven. It's leaves from the trees, you understand? There is no peace unto the wicked. Isn't that what they say? Something along those lines. Well, at 3 a.m, Meghan tells us that she gets brain loops. Last night I had brain loops, she said. Those 3 a.m. loops, and you can't stop overthinking the thing. Well, you overthink 24/7, Meghan. And that's why you're histrionic half the time, and it's why you find fault in others half the time, because you can't just let things go, let things rest, or let it wash over you. You're there overthinking, having your brain loops and brain farts at 3 a.m. The famous landscape architect Humphrey Repton, oh I love that name, Humphrey, created the view that you can see today at Kenwood in the 1790s. It's an important example of the natural seeming style which became known worldwide as the English landscape garden. Inspired by idealised paintings of the landscapes of ancient Greece and Rome, Repton moved roads, planted woods and redirected watercourses to complement the house and make the estate seem endless. He designed it to be viewed from a series of carefully chosen viewpoints, to display in its full force a terminating scene the most magnificent that can be conceived. Can't really argue with that, can you? Oh, what's going on in there? Something's going on. Sorry. I wonder if they've got some nice clothes. I wonder if I'll be kicked out some cosy blankets. Oh. Someone's getting changed, so I don't want to... I think I just filmed someone undressing themselves in a sort of makeshift changing room. That fat man's got beautiful hair. I love that. Lilac. Very handsome. He's a bit of all right, isn't he? He's a bit of all right. Oh, yeah. And we are told some details about young Lilibet's life. Lily spends half the day in preschool, apparently, and she likes to nap when she gets home, and she knows where to find Mummy in the office, because Mum likes to work and play from home, but Lily's allowed to sit on her lap during executive meetings with a grid of all executives. It can't be a room full of executives, my dear. No, that would be too proletariat and too base and too common for Meghan. No, it's a grid of executives. You show us who you are by what you're trying to show us, Meghan. Honestly. And then what's next for discussion on this podcast? More praise. If you guess that, you get a gold star. More praise lavished onto the Duchess, like clotted cream onto one of her scones. She's the perfect hostess. Whitney says, oh, you're such a wonderful hostess. Yeah, the kind of hostess you find at Stringfellows or at the Deja Vu. Oh, yes. Whitney said, you're such an amazing hostess, Meghan. When you go to your home, you're like engulfed in love and coziness. Aha, aha, Whitney love. That's called love bombing. A trick of the trade, love bombing. Ask Trevor and ask Harry, who fell for it, and ask Catherine, who did not fall for it, my dear. And when Meghan immediately tried to leap into her arms, she was told, no, fuck off. I'm the future queen. Fuck off. And get your own lip gloss, love, while you're at it. Yes, that's what our Catherine said. Do you understand that this is one of the many, many reasons why she is such a wonderful choice for our future queen? So discerning, gentle, wisdom. Yes. I remember a rather famous lighting director saying to me once, while he was running technical rehearsals of a production and everyone was being very enthusiastic about his lighting skills, everything was lit beautifully with the colours, with an ombre effect floating into each other, and we walked outside from the darkness of the theatre into the outside, and there was a beautiful sunset, and he said, you can't compete with God, can you? God's always going to put you in your place when it comes to lighting the world and the beauty of nature. That's what you call a set, isn't it? Now, on to the subject of Catherine. Tom Quinn wrote a book called Yes, Ma'am, The Secret Life of Royal Servants, which you might be aware of. I'm not promoting it. I don't know how good his sources are, so you can do your own research there. But he's offered some interesting insight into what went on at the palace and the feelings that were brewing up regarding Meghan and Catherine and their differences. He said that they're both from different parts of the world, of course, but they had to endure the same sort of difficulties in the palace. It wasn't just Meghan. You know, Catherine was a commoner and Meghan an American. Different cultures and both sort of from a middle class world, you know, not upper class, not used to aristocracy, any of this sort of thing. And both of them faced gossip and criticism, he said, from the courtiers and those from the old world, the old guard. But a former member of staff told Tom Quinn that Catherine managed much better than Meghan. And he said that Catherine is actually much stronger. A much stronger person than Meghan in many ways. Ain't that the truth? He says that Kate was always happy to accept advice, both from the lower staff, with whom she got on very well, and from the courtiers, even though some of them were initially very snooty about her. Well, loads of the courtiers, as we know, my dear, most of them are gays. Lots of those gays are bitchy. Not all of them. There's lots of bitchy queens, my dear. Different type of queen in the palaces. And I'm sure some of them might have been jealous of both Catherine, not so much Meghan. But, you know, maybe a little bit of that going on here and there. Maybe it's just a question of sense of humour as well, my dear. Because most of the old guard actually these days aren't especially snooty about things like commoners. You know, plenty of commoners marry into the royal family these days, Catherine and Sophie being just two of them. And Camilla, you know, our queen. It was the same kind of backbiting, gossipy criticism that Meghan had to put up with. Yet what Meghan saw as being pushed around, Kate saw as an essential part of being a member of the royal family. Well, there you are, my dear. It's those brain loops at 3 a.m, isn't it, that Meghan's been telling us about. Meghan was creating narratives that didn't actually exist. The insider claims that Meghan thought that she knew better than the ancient institution of the royal family, but that Kate was never going to buy that. Neither of them were au fait with aristocracy. Both were from the aspirational middle classes, and both of them were sent to private schools, you know, to try and be given a leg up. And one of the late Queen's courtiers told Tom Quinn, that Meghan didn't understand that you don't do as you please, you do as you're told. They said Meghan had plans for her life as a working royal that were not compatible with life as a working royal. You know, and the thing is that you've got to understand, it wasn't that she was jailed into it. She could have chosen, and all the whispers are that she was given a sort of choice and even told that, you know, if you want to continue your acting, so be it. You just can't be half in, half out, and that was made clear to her. She chose to go with it, my dear. And a courtier has claimed that Meghan said, what Diana started, I want to finish. She really did have a messiah complex, this courtier said. Ooh dear, a messiah complex. And she turned away guidance from Sophie Wessex, as she was, do you remember? And of course, from Sue Hussey. And you can just imagine Meghan having one of her 3 a.m. brain loops, can't you? Harry, they have sent along this hussy woman. This hussy. They've sent a hussy along to kind of give me training and mentorship. I'm supposed to receive training from a hussy. Are they trying to tell me something? Are they accusing me of being a hussy because of Sue Hussey? Forgetting, of course, the fact that you couldn't get more vaulted within the minds of the royal family. One of the late Queen's besties was Sue Hussey. Cherished, admired, loved and adored by everybody. Sent to help Meghan, turned away. No, I don't want that hussy anywhere near me. Send her back to Queen Liz. Dusty old Queen Liz, that white woman. She's that dusty old white woman. She disparages me by sending me a hussy? Ah, so her. Well, Insider reckons that eventually there was a sort of split into 2 camps. Those who were for Meghan, those who were against. Your guess is as good as mine, which was the bigger group, but I think we all know. But apparently, Meghan started becoming too cosy and too over-familiar with the help, which is always a no-no. Do you understand? There is a boundary you do not cross. This is with a junior staffer, and it was thought to be inappropriate. And we've all seen proof of that and evidence of that. The way that she was texting back and forth with Jason Knauf, as if he was someone she'd known her whole life and was a confidant rather than help. You know? He was a hire, and she was confiding in him and texting him in ways that are not becoming for a royal. Do you understand? In a way that Catherine would never do. Of course you can be friendly. You can even consider them friends these days to a certain degree. But there is a line. There is an invisible line that you simply do not cross. Do you understand? It's an elite club. A servant is a servant. And there's no greater servant, by the way, than the monarch. A servant to his or her people. Do you understand? However, there are different kinds of servants. One former staffer says that it was extraordinary because she was so confident that you could see she wanted to run the meetings rather than learn about the royal family through the meeting. She really was a great believer in grabbing the bull by the horns, except the royal family is really not a bull. And they weren't going to take her bullshit. Do you understand? But on the subject of Catherine and the way she was with palace staff, we are told Kate was someone who slowly and carefully absorbs the atmosphere of a place, the relationship between people and the rules. Rules is rules. And an example is given to us on the subject of blood sports, for example. You know, this was very distasteful to Catherine. She doesn't like the idea of blood sports, doesn't want any involvement with them, but she understood and accepted that she couldn't just wade in and try and change the culture and have her say and mix it up. Because blood sports, whether you understand them or not, whether you're violently opposed or not, they've been part of the royal family's heritage and tradition. But could you imagine the drama if Catherine wanted to make her priorities and her feelings on the subject known, and sort of muscle her way in and do her bidding with disregard for everybody else? That's not the way it works, my dear. This is not the way it works. This isn't your shack in Montecito. This is Buckingham Palace. This is the royal family of the kingdom. And they're not going to be pushed around and bulldozed. Do you understand? By your blousy, frowsy, bolshy self. Well, that's the end of today's show, my dear. I have no idea at this moment if I'm going to publish this video, because I can't even see what it looks like. I don't know what the sound's going to be like, but I'm going to do my best to cobble it together for you, my dears. I'm trying. I knew that some of you, especially long-time basketeers, wanted something like this, for something different, so... in a way, I enjoyed it because the weather ended up being perfect for it. It's nice and sunny, but it's not boiling hot. And there was a nice array of people. I managed to find a few cosy spots. So thank you for joining me. And if you enjoyed the show, let me know your thoughts. Leave me a nice comment. And if you feel like treating me to a cup of coffee so that I can bring it with me next time I'm sitting on the heath, then my tip jar is in the box below. What a hustler. You got to hustle, haven't you, my dear? But you got to hustle with a bit of class, do you understand? And with a bit of style and flair and panache, not like a vulgar, crass, tawdry cabaret artist or a stripper from the Deja Vu. Do you understand, my dear? Like you know who. See you next time, my dear. Ta-ra and toodle pip.
She was happy.